Hello, Yeshua Network. Nathan Wheeler here. Blessed to be here with you today on this Monday. It is our entire Bible read through Monday, and I'm very happy about that. It is going to be good to get back on the saddle and be sharing with you, our read through. I didn't want our entire Bible read through to be about me, so I wanted to make a video ahead of time for everybody who's asking about my current health situation and what I've been going through. So this is going to be a brief testimony of what I have gone through. I'm going to go ahead and remove my name tag. I think most people who are going to watch this will know who I am, and hopefully they start at the beginning so they can see. But yeah, I'm the founder and the head minister here at Yeshua Network. So what you're about to watch is just a testimony of what the Lord has allowed me to go through, and it has been a blessing, though it has been pure hell. So about a week and a half ago, it was actually more than that, it was about 3 weeks ago, my back really started hurting, and I thought it had to do with the last car accident I got in. Somebody hit me from behind, and I thought maybe they had jolted something, or maybe they had moved my spine or something, like, in a way where I was getting a pinched nerve. I was seeing my chiropractor and my doctors, and they were like, we don't see anything, but we do see a giant kidney stone in your kidney when they took my x-rays. And I've had my kidney stone for a couple years. The last one I had grew to about the size of a golf ball. So it's really, really big, literally the size of a golf ball, a little bit bigger. It took 3 surgeries for him to get it out. The doctor said it was the largest they'd seen. I thought that was kind of cool. If you're gonna get hurt, you might as well get hurt in a way that gives you battle wound stories, right? So about almost 2 weeks ago, I guess, a month. I don't even know what day it was. Was it Monday? Not. I don't know what day it was. My days are totally blended together now. But I went into the ER because for about 2-3 days I was in immense pain with my back, and I could not figure out what it was. And the chiropractor, the doctors couldn't figure out what it was. I was trying to do stretches, but I couldn't even move. I couldn't bend over. And so I just started laying in bed. I got my heat pad on me now. The heat seems to be the only thing that works for me. I just crank the heat up so hot that I think my body gives up on feeling in that area. I mean, I'm still in pain, but it definitely, it's like the only thing that really, really helps. So I crank it all the way up, and I basically burn my back, and that's how I deal with the pain. I guess maybe it's one of those switch, you stomp on your foot so you forget about your headache. Maybe it's one of those things. My back is burning, so I don't feel the pain of the kidney stone as much. So anyways, I finally could not take it. It got to the point where I was starting to think maybe something seriously is wrong with me, or it might be my kidney stone. And around that time, I was having trouble urinating. Now, some of you may not want to know any of this information, but this is a testimony. I hope you will stay until the end of this. It's not just like a woe is me story. There is a wonderful testimony that ties in with what we are going through on this ministry page, something called the 40-Day Holiness Challenge. It's become kind of our annual thing that we do it at the beginning of the year. I myself was participating in it at the beginning of this year, which I did last year as well. And I have been super, super blessed by it. If you have never done it, let me encourage you to check it out. It is obviously all over the main page here at Facebook every day, and also it is on the YouTube channel. So even though I'm in a lot of pain right now, I'm not on any medication. So if you think I look like I'm on medication, you think I sound like I'm on medication, that's not the case. It's just me dealing with the pain. I would never come on and do a video ever with any type of altered state situation. So I don't want anybody thinking this guy is high on a kite on paid meds. I'm not. I'm just dealing with this raw, fully. So I go to bed this third night just being like, it's too late. I know if I go to the ER, I'm going to sit there for 7 hours before they even see me, because it happens every single time. And I want to get a good night's sleep as best I can. I didn't get any sleep, but at least I could lay there and be relaxed on my heating pad. So in the morning when I woke up, I went to the ER, and I was right. I sat there. I ended up being in the ER for 15 hours before they could even come back to tell me anything. And they basically just sent me home with nausea pills because the pain was so bad. I was vomiting. I had to have I don't know if you've ever been in so much pain, like that your body gets like vomiting pain. You have to puke because the pain is your body's I don't know what's going on, but this is not okay. And it starts puking basically like you're sick. So I had a giant, one of those Home Depot buckets next to me, and I was just puking. So they gave me nausea medicine, which was like great. That helped. Oh, and then, but I woke up that morning with both of my eyes swollen. If you look at me now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there might be a little bit of a shine around my eyes. It's because I have medicine around my eyes. I got some type of eye infection in both of my eyes, and my left eye was completely swollen shut, and my right eye was almost swollen shut. And they were itching and burning like crazy. I don't know exactly what happened, but somehow I don't think it was pink eye. I've had pink eye before, and it's just like where your eye is pink and kind of itchy. This actually, like, my eyes like swelled up. So I don't know what was going on. This was all before I went to the ER. So when I went to the ER, they were like, "What are you here for?" Like they always do. And I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty sure my kidney stone is acting up. It's blocking my ability to pee, which is very dangerous." So they had to run more X-rays. They had to do radiation. I don't know what it's called. It's not MRI because that's magnets, but the one where they put the radiation seeing stuff in your body to see like what your issues are. See, I can't even think straight. My point is though, is that they told me the kidney stone is blocking like my left kidney, and that's why my kidney is swollen. It's like swollen with fluids, and it's basically putting pressure on all my back muscles, my back skeletal muscles, and all the things around me. So that's where my pain is like really coming from. It's that my kidney is swelling. And so ultrasound, it wasn't an ultrasound, but it was not MRI. Anyways, I'll think of it. I'm sure it'll come to me in a second here. But anyways, so I'm in there for the kidney stone, and my eyes are swollen, basically shut. My left eye's completely swollen shut, and I have, I told them it's like probably pink eye or something. They gave me this goop to put in it, which really has like done nothing. It has obviously opened my eyes back up, but you can still see they're kind of puffy, and it's been like a week and a half. And I'm like, this should have gotten rid of it already, I'm thinking. And it kind of seems to be like steady pace. So I was going to go into the ER this weekend, but I just didn't want to deal with it, because when I go into the ER for these CT scan, that was it, CT scan, thank you. I knew somebody would help me out. Thank you, Brooke. So when I went into when I go into the ER in the past for my kidney stones, because the pain is so insane, I got accused once of being there for like getting drugs, like for pain meds, like I was addicted to pain meds or something. Like, no, I don't have like that kind of, thank God, I'm not trying to boast, but thank God I've never had addiction issues, like with anything like that. So it really messed me up in the head that one time that somebody did that to me. And now I kind of get that vibe. I guess here in Tennessee, there's a lot of that. It's like a pandemic here where people are addicted to specifically pain meds or opioids or whatever, I don't know, heroin, all sorts of stuff here. And so I never got accused of that in California ever. It never, ever, ever was an accusation placed against me. And when I was accused of that and they didn't give me any meds, I was really, really in pain at that time, and they didn't give me anything because they thought I was just seeking pain meds. And I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but this ties in with this experience. So I'm at the doctor's office this time with my eyes swollen shut so they can clearly see something's going on. I could hardly walk in, so they helped me from basically the parking lot into the ER. They got me in right away, which was great. It was just nobody was there because I was super early in the morning. And then they made me wait forever after they did my scans. They said there was not enough radiologists in the Nashville area. Like there was a waiting list, and they would send my information to a whole other different hospital. And they were waiting for this other hospital's radiologist to look at my chart to see like if I need emergency surgery or something. And I'm like, well, I'm having trouble peeing. I have a kidney stone the size of a quarter, like it's not perfectly round, but it's not flat. It's like a round quarter-sized kidney stone in my kidney, which is clearly like swelling it up. And I know that because my chiropractor saw it and showed me on my x-rays when I went to him for my back issue. So I know I've already seen this. And so anyways, they're like, yeah, but if it's not life-threatening, we'll have to send you home. And I'm like, life-threatening? If anybody's ever had like a grain, like a sand grain of kidney stone passing through your body. You know, I've never had, well, I have had, oh yeah, that's the other part. So leading up to me going into the ER, I don't know why this happened because this normally doesn't happen to me, but I was passing anywhere from like 20 to 30, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, this is just one of my vitamin B12 pills, but they were like, you can't see, like it was about maybe half the size of that. I was passing like 20 or 30 of those a day for like 2 to 3 days. And like every time I would go to the bathroom, I would have like 10 just coming out of me. And if you've ever had them, it feels like, you know, those bristles, those bristle brushes that you clean your barbecue grill with. It felt like if somebody could have made a smaller one of those and then like pulled it through my entire intestinal tract, and they were just like ripping my entire intestinal tract up. It felt like that. So when I went to the ER, I was telling them about this, and I'm like, this is not normal. Like, this is not normal kidney stone level. It's pretty gnarly. Like, it shoot me in the head pain. Like, it really is. Like, if you were in war and your buddy was hurting like this, you'd put a bullet in them out of mercy. Like, it's that kind of pain. So my eyes are burning. They're itching like crazy. And I got kidney stones coming out left and right, and I got a giant one stuck in my kidney, right? It's like that. So the next thing is that they start putting me on some strong medicine, some strong pain meds. I think it was morphine, which I don't like. It messes with my stomach. I know that people like enjoy it or whatever, but for me, it just makes me feel sick, and it doesn't even work. I don't know about anybody else if you have kidney stones, but to me, morphine just makes your head so wobbly that you can't really focus on the pain, but it doesn't actually make the pain go away at all, in my experience. So they give me this. I'm there for 15 hours, and I guess supposedly morphine actually doesn't last very long, and they gave me like 2 doses. So 15 hours, I got 2 doses of morphine. So I'm basically just sitting in the hospital bed in like terrible, terrible agony. And the whole time, obviously, when you're in these situations, you have a lot of time to think and a lot of time to pray. And ironically enough, I wasn't in a bad mood. And, you know, normally, like if you're in a whole bunch of crazy pain, you're a little grouchy. I mean, I may have been a little grouchy. I didn't really have to deal with anybody because I live alone. But at least to the doctors and the nurses, I was very nice. So I got to spend this time with God, and I got to I tried to, and because we are doing the 40-day holiness challenge, again, I know this video sounds like it's all over the place, but you'll notice I started off on the 40-day holiness challenge. I ended up talking about how I went to a hospital here in Nashville once, and they accused me of being addicted to the pain meds, and that was the only reason I was there, which I have no record of that ever. So it really messed me up in the head. And on that trip, they took an X-ray of me, and they said nothing was wrong with me. But because it was literally out in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, like out in the outskirts of nowhere, I had to drive an hour from that hospital to the next closest hospital to get a second opinion. This was after I had spent all day there. I argued with the nurses and doctors and stuff. The police came and escorted me out because I said something is wrong with me. You need to find it. I don't even care if you give me no more pain meds. I said, I just want you to knock me out. Just put me to sleep. Like, I just don't want to be conscious. I don't want drugs. Just put me to sleep. And they're like, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, why wouldn't it work that way? If somebody's in pain and they're conscious, why would you not want them like to be asleep for it, right? So it doesn't make any. Why do you do surgery? You put them to sleep. Well, if it feels like I'm having surgery, why not put me to sleep, right? That's my thinking, but I guess I'm an idiot. So anyways, I leave that hospital. I drive an hour to the next hospital. This was about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And it ties in with this point that I'm about to get to on my recent hospital visit. So I drive to the next hospital, drive myself, mind you. And I left that hospital. I'm not trying to be graphic. If this is not something you guys want to hear, but this to me ties into the level of the testimony I have to share with you today. So I leave that hospital 2 years ago, and I head to the other hospital, and I am bleeding quite a bit from my back end. And so clearly something's broken. When I get to the new hospital an hour away, they call the old hospital and that I got accused of being a drug addict at, and they ask for the x-rays and all the CT scans and everything. And they're like, clearly something's wrong with this guy because he's bleeding out of his back end. And they're like, we don't understand how they let you go. So then they take a look at the x-rays and they're like, yeah, you have something called diverticulitis, which is basically like a tear in my colon or a bubble in my colon. Like and it will never heal. Supposedly it will never heal. And so that they find out what it is and they give me some medicine. I don't even know what that was, but they didn't really give me pain meds. They did give me pain meds. That other hospital gave me pain meds, but they gave me something to heal that thing going on, causing me to bleed. I had to lay in bed for like a week again. I wasn't supposed to do anything, but you guys know me. I can't just sit still. It drives me nuts, which is, remember that being sit still and not doing anything is like, to me, my own living hell. So that will tie into this story as well. So now that I know I have diverticulitis, I have to be careful of what I eat. I have certain things that I have to watch for. If I start to feel symptoms, I have to counter them as soon as possible, or the bleeding thing can happen again. And if you don't know, if you've never had either a kidney stone ripping through your entrails, or you've never had diverticulitis, the pain level is almost the same. I will say that my particular kidney stone situation is worse than the diverticulitis. But diverticulitis, if a kidney stone pain is like a level 10 on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest in pain, diverticulitis is like a 9.5. You still want somebody to shoot you in the head and put you out of your misery. Like, it's still like, shoot me in the head. Now, surgery that I have to have done for my kidney stone, it's lithotripsy, or I don't know, something like that, right? And there's only like a few doctors, of course, in like every state that can do it. So there's this huge waiting list. Yay me. My last one took 3 surgeries. The pain after the surgery, that I come out of the surgery for like 3 days, is no exaggeration. If anybody's ever had one of these type of surgeries, I don't know if it's just me again. I have a very high pain tolerance, as you can clearly see. If I can grow a kidney stone to that size and I continue to function, the doctors are always like, how are you even walking? How are you even like here? Like, they always tell me that. They're like, you have the biggest kidney stone I've ever seen. I don't understand how you're functioning. And I was like, well, I'm in pain, but I just kind of ignore it. Maybe that comes from my old Buddhist days where I could control myself through 3 days of meditation and stuff. I don't know, but I just push through it. I just keep going. So when it gets to the point where I can't keep going, like, I know I need to be in the hospital because there's something wrong with me. So, but anyways, the level of post kidney stone surgery for me, out of a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being having the kidney stone lodged and you want to be shot in the head, to me, it's 3 times, not 30%, 3 times the pain. It's so unbelievable that I was the guy who was screaming at the top of the lungs when I got out of the surgery for the doctor to put me back to sleep because I thought he did something wrong or left a pair of scissors in me or something. It was so unbelievably horrific. So that is like I can't even, I wouldn't even wish that on Hitler. Like, it was so unbelievably bad. I almost wonder if God allowed me to have that experience to imagine what hell might taste like. Like, it was that bad. So I'm in the ER and this trip, and as I'm having all this pain and my eyes are itching and I can barely see, so it's not like I'm watching anything on my phone to pass the time. 15 hours of sleeping on these horrible thin beds, whatever, right? I didn't get like a nice bed. It was an ER mat, right? And I'm just like laying there waiting for them, and I'm terrified to ask for any pain help, because I'm scared that this other hospital is going to write me up as some kind of drug addict again. So I'm just dealing with the pain because I'm so scared of being accused of that and then never getting anything the next time I come in. So I'm just sitting there dealing with the pain for 15 hours. Well, whatever they gave me, morphine, and then they did give me a pain med later, that pain med, or whatever they gave me, or not eating, I don't know what it was, but it kicked in my diverticulitis. So now my diverticulitis starts to inflare and my stomach just starts feeling like somebody is stabbing me with a very dull knife. And they're kind of like, it's like they're looking for something with the knife. Like they're trying to scrape around and they're looking for something with the knife inside my intestine. And I'm like, and there's nothing you can do. You can't move to get into a comfortable position, though you want to. So you're like, at least me, I'm squirming all the time. I'm trying to move my body, trying to like, flex my stomach muscles, shake, I don't know, do whatever to try to get out of the pain. So I have my kidney stone pain, which is a level 10. And then my diverticulitis kicks in and my eyes are itching and burning. And if you've ever had like an eye itchy, burny sensation, right? Like any type of itchy, burny sensation, right? Like it drives you mentally mad. So I'm sitting in the hospital, terrified to ask for any help because the one nurse, male nurse, my head nurse, he was totally acting like a jerk to me. And I'm like, yeah, he must think he didn't say it. Supposedly he didn't write it in my notes on my record there, but I was sure not to ask him. But he was being like super rude and mean to me and talking down to me, and I'm just like, I almost snapped at him, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna get out of this hospital and I'm gonna go to another one another day. That was my thinking. Just get home, and because they're not gonna let you stay, they're definitely not gonna give you an emergency surgery. So just get home, and then just be in hell there and deal with it. So as I'm sitting with this 15 hours, the testimony I have for you is I wasn't in a bad mood. And I wasn't, even with the diverticulitis and the kidney stone and the itchy eyes and the puffy eyes, like I still wasn't in a bad mood. And I started to think about the 40-day holiness challenge. I started to think about how the Lord has called me to ministry. And there was this thought that came to me as if like I kind of had an understanding of why all this was happening to me, which was really nice. Because to me, the worst part is the mental. The body part sucks, but if my mind becomes weak and I can't control my mind, I can't control my thoughts, that's when like everything gets out of control. I can't control my pain management with my breathing and my mind. I can't control, my emotions. You want to run away, but there's nowhere to escape to. So the fact that we were doing the 40-day holiness challenge, one, made sense to me as well. And two, it really allowed me to realize that this was like a Job moment for me, but for real. I had experienced kidney stone pain before, but it happened at a time where I was, lucky to have support. I had friends who lived nearby because I was in Los Angeles. If I really needed somebody, if I just needed somebody to hang out with or whatever, I was in a position in a place where I could have that. But here I didn't have that. And, I know some of you have asked, to come and hang out with me, but because of now where I'm at and how I'm at, it's better for me to be alone because I'm not conscious of other people around me, and it's taking all my attention to stay positive and to keep my mind, and focus on the pain, right? And so forth. So if I have somebody else, I'll always want to host. It's just how I am. So anyways, the nurse comes in, he's rude. And I'm realizing like, this is like a form of prison. For me, it's a form of prison. And I'm not trying to compare myself to Paul or anybody in the Bible. Like we all have our own hells. They were in actual prison. They actually got stoned to death. I wish I was dead though. Like at this moment, I was like, God, I'm totally cool if you want to kill me right now. I'm totally cool if you want to make like one nurse come in and give me a dose of something, and then the next nurse doesn't know that I already got it and they give it to me and it kills me. Like I'm totally imagining all these wonderful scenarios of how I could go home, right? Like, cause the pain is just unbearable. Like I can't actually bear it. So I finally, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is amazing though. Sorry, this is probably the part you've been waiting for all these minutes. How long has it been? Too long. But something absolutely amazing happened in my head. And I realized I'm not the slightest bit mad at God, but I could totally understand how anybody else could be. It's one of those things where I wasn't able to work all month because of these ice snowstorms we had in Tennessee, because I drive Uber for my living. And I haven't been able to drive for half the month, basically. And then now a week and a half is burned with this hellish pain that I'm bedridden in. Like there's absolutely no way I would trust myself behind the wheel. If it moved, like I twitched my back muscle, my diverticulitis, I'm supposed to hit the brakes or pump the gas or something like that. Like, no, we're dead. We're going to die in a car accident, which might be good for me, but not for my passenger, right? So I'm not driving Uber because I don't want to kill anybody, mainly, right? So, and I don't want to live and end up going to prison for, vehicle manslaughter, something like that, crazy, stupid like that, right? So I'm lying there and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way this glorifies you, God. Like this, there's nothing glorifying you in the fact that I'm being bombarded with health issues, like severe, real health issues. And I'm like, but while this doesn't make any sense, I can clearly see that I'm not mad at you in any way. I can clearly see that all the more reason I might be mad at you, and I have no anxiety and I have no resentment towards you. I don't think you're a bad God. I don't think you're being mean to me, because you're a mean God. Like, I still love you. I still think you're the bomb.com. I still worship you. I'm still singing praises in my heart and my head. I'm like, I really love you. And it was one of those things where I realized, like, it wasn't even a challenge. It wasn't even a thing where my faith was being tested. It was like there was nothing negative between me and God. I was just like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem to glorify you, but I was literally had gratitude in my heart, and a lot of it, because now I might sound a little strange in what I'm about to say. But I read the Bible so many times, and I read the New Testament a lot of times, like a lot of times. And every time I look at Paul and the apostles and I see what they went through and what they struggled, and I see, like, how the Lord used them, a little bit of me is jealous. I'm a little bit jealous of the things they suffered for the kingdom. I know I might be weird. I might be a broken person. I totally acknowledge that. But I'm a little bit jealous of the fact, like, Paul was in prison. Like, he can stand before God, and God was like, hey, you really went through some really rough times and you still love me. Hey, you really got your butt kicked, you got stoned to death, you got your head chopped off. Like, you loved me the whole time. Your heart didn't wane, your heart didn't wander. You didn't weigh the pros and cons, like, do you love your God still, or am I a bad God? Like, you just didn't do any of that. And Paul he has that, and nobody can take it from him. And I had my kidney stone. I've been homeless multiple times. I've I've had my best friends sleep with my girlfriends in my own house when they were homeless, and I was literally taking them off the streets and helping them. I've had my pastor accuse me of horrific things from the pulpit for the whole church to hear that were total lies, and it caused me to not only lose that ministry, but all my friends and a girl that I was seeing. It even caused me to lose my place of rent, because the girl that I was seeing, she was my landlord, and she thought it was the most horrible thing, so she kicked me out, and I couldn't. It was a horrible thing. So my point is that I've had rough years, I've had bad situations, but pain is like a unique thing that tests you in a very specific, unique way. And I thought, even in this, like, triple level pain, diverticulitis, full blown, kidney stone, full blown. I had my tear. I have a skeletal tear on my back from the car accident. They did find that, but that was my chiropractor. And I had my eyes. And once I got home, I have a chipped tooth. So my chipped tooth is what's been giving me my headaches lately. If you guys have been paying attention, you've been online and you've been watching that lately, I've been having these crazy headaches. Well, I found out that I have a chipped tooth. So my chipped tooth is what's causing, it's like infected or something, and it's causing this pain to just shoot straight up behind my right eyeball, and then it just makes my whole head go want, 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 like a migraine, right? So once I get home from the hospital on this trip, I have full-fledged level 10 version of diverticulitis, full-fledged level 10 kidney stone pain, still pissing sand, grains and grains of kidney stones coming out, headache from my chipped tooth, itchy, crazy, burning eyes, and I haven't slept in like, I slept 2 hours and 24 hours, 48 hours at this time, 48 hours at this time. So I'm like, just one of these is a pretty bad thing to deal with. But all of them layered up at the exact same time, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I couldn't lay in bed. Now, some of you may not want to hear this part, but I do think it ties into the level of my testimony here, right? I couldn't lay in bed, like in the fetal position or whatever position, with the heating pad on my back and on my stomach, to try to deal with the pain. I had to spend the next 48 hours on the toilet because of the diverticulitis. So I basically slept and lived on the toilet, which didn't provide me any obviously comfort. It was like absolutely horrifically embarrassing. Like I'm stuck on the toilet. Like I could only get up and run to the kitchen, grab something to eat and drink, and then I'd have to run right back to the bathroom again, right? So I can't sleep, and if I do, I did fall asleep on the toilet a few times because as soon as I laid down and as soon as I got comfortable, nope, bad news, had to get right back to the toilet. So I realized the best thing for me was just stay on the toilet. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, Lord, thank you. Like I'm telling you guys, I'm not saying this to boast about myself. I'm just saying that God is actually so good that he can change your inner hell. He can change that inner voice that, we have conditioned for ourselves to believe and to hear and to listen to, and God's abandoning you. God doesn't see you. If God was real, this wouldn't be happening to you. You minister all the time. You do your best to serve. Your ministry doesn't even have your name on it. You haven't made your ministry about you. You haven't, milked it and sold books and the TV rights and all this stuff. Like you can go through the list and you can validate yourself. You can validate your walk. You can do all these things to make yourself feel right and feel good and think, well, God should be honoring me. God should be recognizing me like I'm somebody special. You can do that. You could do that. And so when these bad things happen, you can go, don't I deserve more? Don't I deserve friends and family? Or shouldn't I have little kids around? Shouldn't I have a wife around? Shouldn't I have my brothers or mom and dad around? Shouldn't I have the normal things that normal people have while even going through one of these things? But no, I have to go through all of them and go through them with this kind of, very long, drawn out hell of a life on top of it, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I know this is all over the place. You got to forgive my thoughts. I prayed so hard that God would be with me and how I'm telling you this testimony. I hope it's going well. I won't know till I look back on it probably in like a month or so. But I was filled with such a gratitude that I felt that God has given me a Paul moment. And I'm like, I don't have to wonder if I ever get captured. I don't have to wonder if I ever get imprisoned and they torture me. I don't have to wonder if my mind is going to renounce Christ. I don't have to wonder these things. Diverticulitis, kidney stone, chipped tooth headache, itchy, rashy eyeball, stuck on the toilet, can't sleep for 72 hours, just a bombardment. But like headaches to me are also the worst because you can't control your thoughts, like even more than pain, right? So when the headache is kicking in and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it might have been triggered, the headache thing might have been triggered by the morphine. I don't know, but I was having headaches. And so it's like, I'm just sitting there so thankful that God gave me a Paul moment. And I was so full of gratitude, like that I got to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that I'm good. I will praise my Lord even when the worst type of hell that my body, that I think literally a human body can handle, I just went through. I'm still going through it. I'm able to function-ish at the moment. As you can see, I'm totally not myself. You can see I still have the goop on my eyes because they're still itchy and crazy red. But I'm here and I'm doing it. And now we're going to do EBRT tonight. I'm still trying to post. I remembered, thanks to you guys, from a post you made. Ricardo, you made a post and you reminded me about the praise and worship that we do, the praise reports we do on Monday, and I will post today as well for the prayer and fasting on Wednesday. I have been dropping the ball on that because I have been going through a lot of stuff. And that's no excuse. That's no excuse. So maybe that's why this is happening. Maybe I'm being punished for forgetting those things. I don't know. I don't know why it's happening, but I'm grateful that it is. And I'm grateful that nobody could ever in my entire life come to me and say, you just have such a nice, fluffy life. Of course you love God. Or you don't know what it's like to have this type of pain. Or you don't know what it's like to be alone in these kind of circumstances. Like, I felt like I was in a prison legitimately. I basically was stuck in my bathroom, not sleeping on a bed, not sleeping in a cot, in unbelievable pain where I wish somebody would just, take me out of my misery. I was literally having hallucinations of me being in war. and like laying on the battlefield, and my buddy comes up and like puts a bullet in my head just to take me out of my misery. Like I started realizing, like, man, that really is a mercy thing. And I know that God, I started realizing God has to have a special place for that. Like, that's not murder. Like I was like realizing, like, there's if I was in war and all that, I was like, yeah, this would be like, this is horrible. I know that God understands mercy in that way. I know he does. So the whole thing was a blessing to me, is a blessing to me. And the worst part of it is, and I want to share this because I think that this might be the thing that a lot of you are going through right now. Maybe you're not in the type of physical pain. You might be going through some type of physical pain. It might be really severe. Maybe you have kidney stones. Maybe you have diverticulitis. Maybe you have body aches, or something's going on with you. So I pray for you because I know what it's like to have that debilitating kind of pain. I totally am in it right now. But the thing that was my biggest challenge, the thing that was causing me my greatest struggle, was the fact that I couldn't work, and the fact that, like, I wasn't, on track to pay bills or anything. And I'm like, I'm not going to be anytime soon. I don't, unless this thing moves, which, if it could move today, it could move tomorrow, a miracle could happen. If it moves into a place I'm not feeling it, then I can be basically pretty much normal. As you guys have seen me for the last 2 years, it's been there this long. I can just get by it if it's in a certain spot where it doesn't hurt too much. I can feel it, but it doesn't hurt too much. I don't know why it won't move though. I've been doing my shakes. I kind of wiggle my butt like I have a tail. I try to jump up and down. I'll go all running in place, like all this type of stuff to try to move it. But it is what it is. My point is that it's the psychological part. I realize that my hell, my actual hell of hells on earth, is being helpless to provide for myself as a man should provide for himself. And my hell has always been that, my fear and my hell is that if God calls me to ministry, full ministry, that I won't be able to make ends meet. And I realize that is my sin. So if the devil has a right to me, as we talk about when you're casting out demons, or you're in pain, and if Christ were to come up to me and cast out a demon out of me, it would be the sin of fear. It would be the sin of self-reliance, and not as surrendered as I think I can. I can surrender over pain, but I can't surrender over my manhood, if you will. I can't surrender over the fact that it seems like God just wants me to be almost like a baby, like a child baby, where I am literally at the mercy of God's whims and the graces of other people. And that is where I just had the conversation with God. I'm like, I know this. The worst part for me is knowing I can't go, and I'm not driving, and I didn't drive during the snow storms and ice storms and whatever. And the embarrassment and the shame, it brings me back to the first time I was in ministry with an actual church building, and how the whole church abandoned me and all my friends abandoned me. And I realized, along with some things that happened in my childhood, I'm super, super scarred by it. So I know through this experience that God has shown me, if you get thrown in prison and you get tortured, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You know your meals are there if they feed you, or you're going to die, which you're okay with. You know that you can handle the pain long enough until you die, whatever. It's having, I hope this speaks to somebody, and I hope I truly am making sense. God, please be with me. I have understood through these last week and a half, through this pain, through doing the 40-day holiness challenge as best I could through it. I really need to start over. But because I was just going through this, right? But I feel like my hell is attached to hope. As long as I have some type of idea of hope, that I can have a normal life, I'm not actually fully surrendered to the degree that God has called me to. So if I can go and work Uber, then I have an inkling of hope, and I have an inkling of I'm a good person. I just start to validate, like I can sustain, I can pat myself on the back, I can do this and that. I don't know why it seems in the last year, with my car being in the shop for 5 months, which doesn't make any sense at all to even the mechanics and the dealerships here. I can't understand what has happened with my health issues over the last few months. And even before that, I can't understand all these things just constantly keeping me from being able to make a legitimate income. Except for the fact that God being in his sovereignness is sovereign, which I believe he is. I'm thinking to myself, you want me to be basically destitute. Like, you want me to be on the verge of just always being like, you know, unable to survive. And I don't know how that glorifies you, God. And I don't know why you'd want that. It doesn't seem like it would be a good thing. You should, the people who seem to have the most listeners, the most influence over people to inspire them and to encourage them and to give them advice on scripture are the people who are on the news or on TV or have movies or books or all these. They're basically some form of success. Some way, shape, or form in the world, they have some form of success. And it kind of allows people's hearts and minds to be open to the things they have to say. And I'm like, but a guy who is basically homeless or destitute, whatever, that doesn't bode well. It's not an attractive thing for people. It doesn't set up a scenario of success even for the kingdom. So even Paul had success. He opened up more churches in his time than anybody else. Peter and the apostles, they walked with Christ, so they had success in spillover experience directly from Christ. That was their success. They got chosen, and in their chosen, they were ordained with the holiest of ordainings you could have from the Christ himself. So they had that earthly success. So I'm like, Lord, there is no earthly success. Not really. I didn't build this ministry online. You gave it to me. You developed it. I didn't portray any of the normal influencer rules to make this thing grow. You grew it 100% on your own. I just posted what you told me to post. I did what you told me to do. I messed up a few times. You showed grace on me, and you continue to show grace on me, and I'm grateful for it. But this one part of my brain and my experience in this life is like, it's my Achilles heel. It is the thing that I realize is my idol. I cannot let it go. Because I don't know how to let it go. I don't know what it means for me to let it go. Maybe that's what speaks to you guys. And I realize that I'm the type of person that with a kidney stone, I'll still go. Even if it grows to a golf ball, I'll still keep moving forward. If I have a headache, I will keep still going. I will keep finding a way. I will push through. I'm a little bit of a crazy person in that kind of, in that kind of way, which I would consider good. But when it comes to God wanting to rip away your last everything that you're attached to or you lean against for any type of support or security in this world, it's not so good. And I can understand why he had to give me a kidney stone, diverticulitis, a broken tooth, itchy, swollen eyes, ripped skeletal muscle on my back, all at the same time. I wouldn't hear him otherwise. I wouldn't really hear him otherwise. And I think that a lot of us, we look at our situation and we say the sentence, why are you abandoning me? Why are you letting me out of your sight? Why are you not like you would help anybody else? I mean, we have prophets in the Bible, they got made fun of by kids, and a bear ate all the kids. Like, you've never had a bear eat all the people who made fun of me. You've never had manna rain down from the sky for me. You've never parted an ocean for me. So clearly, God, I literally am not even on your radar. I might as well be a grain of sand because you do not acknowledge me. You don't really take care of me no more than you do any other being on earth, really, right? And you can start to role play these things in your head, and you can start to basically say God's not paying attention to me. But because of the timing of this, of my own used mouthpiece 40-day holiness challenge, I'm watching the videos, I'm looking at the scriptures with you guys as you're going through them, and I'm like, all right, Lord, what have I not brought to the fire? What am I still holding in my hand? What is my suitcase of pride? And this is how he showed it to me. And if you're going through it where, like, I don't know how to say this any other way, but if you're watching me go through this and you're doing the 40-day holiness challenge and you're thinking like, yeah, I don't know if I want to keep signing up for this. Is this where this all goes? I'm not saying that necessarily your calling is my calling. And I'll be honest, I don't even really totally know what my calling is. I think I know, but but maybe I'm not able to step into it because I'm still holding on to this self-reliance situation for finances and living, roof over my head, as much as I possibly can. I obviously rely a lot on you guys for donations and stuff, but I still have that thing where I can wake up every day and go do something, right? And I have looked back on the last 5 years. What time is it? Hopefully this is okay. I have looked back on the last 5 years, specifically since leaving Los Angeles or since COVID, whatever. I spent a lot of my hours of my days focusing on how to get out of this hole that I have dug in my life, and focusing on how to not ever be in the situation again. More importantly than that, I never wanted to be in this situation again. And so I have spent so much of my time in my head, in my thoughts about that. Instead of being still, in tune to his spirit, listening to how he might want to use me moment to moment to moment, listening to maybe a prophecy he wants to give me, a word of knowledge he wants to give me, being out there laying on hands and praying for people. But the thing is I keep thinking to myself, I can't lay on hands if I'm worried about my next paycheck or my next rent bill or my car bill, or I can't go out and I can't do these things if I'm worried about these type of things, right? I just can't. My mind, I won't be there. I won't listen. And so by that, I'm not listening. Does this make sense? It's a bad cycle. I think I got to get this fixed before I can go and be truly, honestly devoted to God. And I'm not being truly, honestly devoted to God because I'm trying to fix things before I go and be devoted to God. I hope that speaks to somebody. I think it should. So, and I feel that it's a way for me not to take advantage of God, not to take advantage of anybody who donates to me, because that's always been my thing too. I have this it's a childhood rooted thing. Anytime somebody donates, I feel this unbelievable guilt. And in all honesty, I know that you guys tell me it's a blessing for you to donate, but in all honesty, and it's a blessing for me to donate. Like, oh, I love it when I can donate or be a blessing to somebody. Like, it is the best day, of my month, of my year, when I am the one who has the ability to be charitable. It is truly, I've looked back and it is the best feeling of my life. I think is what I want more than anything. I want to be charitable. I want to be giving. And I want to be giving onto others. And so when I am being given onto, it's my personal hell. That's what I'm talking about. And so I understand why God would have to give me this physical, horrible attack on my body at the time that we're specifically doing the 40-day holiness challenge, so that I could really, really realize what I had in my suitcase of pride. A suitcase of pride is an analogy I use, guys, if you don't know. It's just like an analogy, like it's a thing that you carry with you and you don't even know what's in it. You have the suitcase in your hand, you have it like in your pocket, but you don't even look in the pocket to know what it is. You know it's there, but you don't know what it is. So you think to yourself, well, if I don't see it, it's not real. Or if I don't acknowledge it, it's not affecting my life or my relationship with God, that kind of thing. So this was something, of course, I knew I was struggling with, but I didn't understand exactly how it was negatively affecting my walk and my interaction with God. And again, let me please say this so that somebody might relate. I am telling you the truth. It doesn't seem to be of any good thing unto God for his kingdom for me to for me to not try to make my own way, and to not try to get out of my own hole, and to just it doesn't seem like it's at all good to God. It would be good to the kingdom. It doesn't seem it I don't I'm so trying to find the words, but there's a real good sentence here if I can find it, but it's like, I guess the words my brain is saying is, there's no blessing in it for you, God, for me to basically be 100% dependent. That doesn't glorify you. If anything, it will hurt the kingdom of God. It will hurt my ministry, because people will start to think horrible things about me. They'll start to think, oh, this guy doesn't try. He's just milking the situation. He's just doing this and that. I can't watch him anymore. Maybe he has a good message, but really his messages aren't so good anymore, which I think they're not so good anymore these days, because I am so in my head about this. And that's what I realize, is that I am so in my head about it. I'm not actually able to serve you to the fullness of my capability. Let me go one step further, because again, this might speak to somebody, especially doing the 40-day holiness challenge. As God brings me through this and he reveals it to me in the refining fire, I now have a new pride that I'm left with, holding in my hands. He says to me, Nathan, I want you to surrender your survival utterly to me. I will find a way. I will provide for you as I do the birds of the air. I will provide for you. But I want you to spend every waking moment of your life focused on me and my sheep. Now, you watching me from the outside might be like, that makes sense. Some of you had said that. But let's face it, that also seems just really selfish in a weird way, right? Like, that'd be the best life in the world to possibly live. To just wake up every day, know that there's people like you folks who are making donations, and I can just minister every day, all day long, in every way that I want to. That to me is better than winning the lottery. That for me is like, literally, I get to live in heaven on earth. And so then my brain goes to, I'm not worthy. And then my brain goes to, that's not fair to the people who are suffering. And then once I realize that that's all pride, it seems selfless and it seems humble, but in all reality, it's prideful. And I know if you're going through the 40-day holiness challenge, that vernacular is familiar to you. Yes, I put it on myself in case you guys think I don't. But then I'm left with my true worst demon. The demon that is there when all other demons, even this one, have been surrendered. And I go, okay, God, let's role play this scenario. Let's say that I surrender to a true full life of ministry, no matter what that means to my physical home, the clothes on my back, the food in my belly, like whatever it means. Let's say that I fully do surrender to you, and let's see where this goes. Maybe I lose the ministry. Maybe my internet, my phone get turned off. Maybe this all goes south. But once again, like my pain test, I'll be able to stand before God and say, I let it all go. And that's that. And I can be confident I truly let it all go. And that is very much a difficult thing for me, because then I would wonder, was I just being not foolish? What's the word I'm looking for, guys? Am I being not ignorant? My brain, it's so hard to have a thought. I'm sorry, you guys, but am I just being stupid, for lack of a better word? Am I just being stupid, right? So I'm left with one last demon to look at when I say, God, okay, I see what you're calling me to. Okay. But how do I make up for the mistake I've made of not listening to you for the last 10, 15 years? How do I make that up to you? Even if I finally started listening to you and I do exactly what you want me to be, exactly what you want me to be, do exactly what you want me to do, starting on this day, and I have this fresh start that Paul talks about, we're made new every day. You have a fresh start. You can do whatever you want. But how do I undo or make right the wrongs I've done in the past? And how do I get out of the hole I've dug for myself? And as I've dug this hole and tried to get myself out of it, I've dug the hole deeper for myself, psychologically, emotionally, financially. How do I do right to you if I just give up and surrender? How could I live with myself? It's not you, God, that I have a problem with. It's not the new fresh start you want to give me that I have a problem with. It's all the days and all the moments I've collected that I have broken and I shouldn't have broken. It's all the things I've done and all the bad choices I've made that I shouldn't have chosen. I want to correct those things so I can sleep good at night. I want to correct those things so I can look people in the eye when I'm ministering and serving them and say, I'm not somebody who took the easy way out. I'm not somebody who just threw it all to the wind and said, oh, oopsie doozy, oh well, right? And then I feel like this is Paul's thorn in his side. I feel like this is Paul's thorn in his side. The thing that he's like, God, I have to fix this somehow. There has to be a way where the things I have done can be fixed and washed clean. And then it's like God says, my grace is sufficient. It's like, my demon argues with God. My last stronghold in my spiritual essence argues with God at this final stage. This to me is the final thing that I really, really struggle with. And I say, I'm not okay with that. How big of an idol is that? That God has clearly called me to a life of ministry, which is and truly would be heaven on earth in every way, shape, or form. And I say no to him because I love him too much. Because I would feel too much guilt to fully surrender and give up on the means that I have built into the flesh and into the mind he's given me. And that's the torture of it when he cripples my flesh and cripples my mind, that I'm not able to do those things that I want to trust on myself to correct the wrongs I've done. So again, if you're doing the 40-day holiness challenge, and we're reading Romans 5 and 6 tonight in our EBRT, or we're going over it, I feel like this is quite fitting. I feel like this is just perfect. It's a perfect timing for this to be really shown to me and for me to have to go through it. And I feel like, kidney stone pain, diverticulitis, broken tooth headache, itchy eyes, and torn skeletal tissue, they're nothing compared to this pain. He is so good, guys. I think that's the thing, is his love is so good. His grace is so good that our pride, I'm speaking for myself when I say our, that's a royal we. Our pride is just so ridiculous. Mine is. So that is the demon I'm fighting, have been fighting. I hope I can stop fighting. I hope I can surrender finally that over to him, place it in the fire, the refining fire, and be broken of the chains that bind me to my sin, because that sin, it's total pride. Like when I speak it to you out loud, it's like so clear to see, right? That's an idol. That is an idol. It seems in a weird way righteous and humble. And to the world, even, if I had an earthly father, or I have earthly friends, they would give me the advice. They have given me the advice I am tormented by. The advice of that you can't just do that. You can't just roll that dice that God is going to provide, that you can wake up and everything is going to be taken care of. You can't do that. That is, that is, God, what is the word? That's youthful foolishness. What's that word? It's something a child does out of ignorance. It's no responsibility, right? You're not taking responsibility. You're being abusive of the giftings in which you have been given and the graces in which you have been given. That is the advice the outside world would share to me. But as I explain it to you in my situations, through my recent developments, I can clearly see 100% that the ways of the world that make sense are naive. Thank you, Daniel. Naive. It's naive. See, that's how much pain I'm in. I can't even think of words like naive. And I think to myself, I'm like, it's just naive. Foolishness. It's just so naive. Frivolous. There's that too, Patty. Absolutely. Frivolous is another one. And I think to myself, I'm like, I know that the advice I would give myself, I am technically giving myself in my own head, or the enemy, or the world, or my own indoctrination is speaking to me in my head. I know that it is not of God, though it makes total sense to the world. Does this speak to anybody right now? Is there anything going on in your life while you're doing this 40-day holiness challenge that you have on your checklist and you're not even looking at it because you think to yourself, there's nothing wrong with it? There's nobody on earth who would look at what I'm doing or how I'm thinking or how I'm approaching this and think you're doing something wrong. Do you have possibly anything in your life that you're like, I must though? Obviously, God wants me to though. I must do though. And then I want you to think about all the times in the Bible where people did things because they knew it was the right thing to do and it was logical, and they messed up. King Saul, 30 seconds more before the ritual has to be done. Samuel's not anywhere to be seen. So King Saul says, I'll do it. Why? Because it makes sense. Because the alternative is total, utter God-side failure. God will be let down if I don't. God the commitment to God will be broken if I don't. And in doing what a good, loving heart would do, according to any standard of any person in the world, Saul ends up doing the ritual himself and ends up breaking the whole thing and ends up losing his crown for it. Ends up losing his blessings for it. I think the minutia, can't believe I can figure out that word, but not naive. I think the minutia these type of indoctrinated cultural ideas and habits of our nature, if that makes sense, are riddled against God. They are riddled with spirits that go against God, my brothers and sisters. And here's the thing, that can be a super scary thought. Like, for 1 second, you might think to yourself, can you tell I've had a lot of time just sitting with God? Can you tell he's done a lot of work with me? You, if you start thinking to yourself, how many things do I have that I cannot see? My eyes are completely and utterly blind to them. I'm searching for them and they're right in front of me, but I can't see them at all. The wonderful thing about God is that when you do seek him, when you do authentically seek to grow closer to him in your heart, you look to his word, you praise him in your heart with action, not just song, but you really look to him and you really look to that refining fire. Even if you can't see it, he totally sees it. And he will start to burn and burn and burn it. And it may hurt you because you're attached to it, because you think it's even you. You identify as it, that thought, that culture, that society, that choice, that neighborhood, that friendship, that relationship, that family, that house, that job, that career. You identify it. So you're literally so blind to it, thinking to yourself, this cannot be the thing that God wants to take away, for this thing is good. Even in God's eyes, even biblically, this thing is good. It cannot be the thing that God wants to take away from me. And then you may even, like me, say to God, take anything from me but this. You may even petition to God, I will serve you. I will surrender to you. But let's make a deal. Give me this. Have grace on me and give me this one thing that I can't let go. Think about how many times you read in the Old Testament of that one thing that people just won't let go of, even though God is literally sitting there calling them to let go of it. And he's like, I'm going to be your God. Do you think you're going to lack anything? Do you think you're going to miss out on anything? Do you think your life is going to be empty from anything? I want to be your God. Just let go of this one stupid last thing. And the person goes, let me bury my father first. Let me transfer my funds to my family first. Let me go home and say goodbye first. God wants us to throw the nets. He wants us to leave the dead. Doesn't want us to bury our fathers. He doesn't want us to turn back and look at the city behind us that we came from, that gave us everything, maybe a great life, wonderfulness. All those things are death. All those things turn us to ruins, piles of salt. You get what I'm trying to say? So Christina, if you're asking me the question, it's not rhetorical. I actually just went through it. But I'm holding the demon I'm holding on to, the sin I am truly holding on to, is I want to correct the wrongs of my past. I want to make right what I have broken. I want to not be a failure, and I don't want to have shame, because I have a lot of shame. I have a lot of shame, and I have a lot of regret, and I have just a hole that there's no way I could dig myself out of, psychologically, emotionally. It's just not, even career-wise. It's just, there's no way I can dig out of it, especially with now my health issues growing. There's no way I could dig out of it. And so what I'm asking for is, I'll serve you, God. It's kind of like this long going conversation. I'll serve you, God. I'll be all that you want me to be, but let me correct this thing first. So then I can have my own peace, my own legitimacy in my own heart, that I have a right to be there and stand before you. I have a right to minister. I have a right to inspire and encourage and speak, a right to lay hands all that. Does that make sense? Like it's this weird thing that I'm sure, you know, maybe many of you, most of you don't have this issue going on in your head, but I do. I totally have it. And this is what he's revealed to me, right? I want to fix these things, God, before I believe I can or ever should serve you to the fullest degree. I'll serve you a little today. Let me work on this a lot. Once that all gets taken care of, then I'll come and I'll totally service you in every way. So that's my struggle. Jamie says, isn't that grieving the Holy Spirit? Probably. I feel in my soul it's grieving the Holy Spirit. I feel in my soul it's disappointing my Father. I feel in my soul that that's the reason why I have a kidney stone, size of a golf ball almost, again, diverticulitis, a tear in my colon, ripped skeletal tissue in my back, broken tooth, and swollen, itchy eyes from some who God knows what thing I have in my eyes. I have no idea what. All this at once is because I'm just not getting the memo. So I got the memo, and now as I heal my body and I struggle to make it to tomorrow every day now, every day I got to make it to tomorrow. This last month, I've totally got my butt kicked. This last month was brutal for me, like brutal. And the funny thing is that I was able to keep my chin up during the month, but now as I've come into February and I'm starting to deal with the new month, you know, all the bills, all the things like that. And, you know, how I wasn't able to do all those things I trusted on myself to do, right? It's like now I'm paying the price now again for my past, for a month that I was hurt, snowed in, iced in, all these things. Like these were things I thought were outside of my means, but it was more so, let's be honest, it was more so that I've been living a life with effort and ways to try to be my own man, to stand on my own 2 feet. And in the world where, you know, I think that men should be a man, provide, protect, climb out of their own holes. Again, I'm acknowledging like that's the knowledge of the world, that's the knowledge of a man, you know. But when you're in a life of ministry, when you're in a life of servitude unto God, surrender unto God, which we are all called to be, you're not your own man. You're not your own provider. You are not. You're just not. And I think that that's a thing that, you know, you know, I love America. I love it. I love it. But in a strange way, the thing that America kind of lacks is a king. And the reason I say that is because as great as democracy is, I don't think I think there's a benefit to having a king because I think it would help believers understand what it means to have a heavenly king. I feel like a lot of the things on earth, and I'll be short with this because this is kind of more me now, just kind of coming to the conclusion. But, you know, I think about children. I don't have any. I think about marriage. I'm not married, never have been, but I got close. But children teach us a lot about how we are children to God, right? And marriage teaches us a lot about what it's like to be married to Christ, to be his bride, right? And what it means on how do we love one another and how do we love him and how do we treat him? Do we accidentally abuse him or take him for granted or not respect him or not appreciate him or not hear him? Do we gripe a lot, complain a lot, kind of want our own way? Do we think we know better a lot? Like there's all these things that we learn from these earthly aspects, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I perceive that there would be a benefit to having a culture of kings. And again, God didn't want even Israel to have a king, but they had God as their king. So I think like maybe that's a thing that and I have no idea. See, this is where my brain goes. And then I just go, whatever that is. I'm thinking too far. I always feel like I'm thinking too far. But my thinking is that how do I live a life where God is my actual king? Like, really, how do I live? Like, that's to me the 40-day holiness challenge. How do I live a life where God is my actual king? And would I even really know what that looks like? You know, and I think that I think that that's where I struggle. I think that's that demon of I need to stand on my own 2 feet. I need to be my own man. I need to step up. I need to step up and do, all this type of stuff. And I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying that there's too much me relying on my talent. What can I do? Where can I go? How can I do? How can I go to make sure that this gets taken care of? And it just sounds like so many people in the Bible. Well, how am I gonna if I don't? Well, how do you want me to do this when I've never blah, blah, blah? I'm not experiencing this, God. You're calling me to do that? That doesn't make any sense. He's like, that's because I want you to trust and rely on me for it. And you're like, easier said than done. When we read it in the Bible, we're like, why can't they just trust him? It's so easy. Just trust. He's gonna be there. He's talking to you. It's good. Why can't we trust him? And then then we get into the situation. God's like, will you trust me? And you're like, no. My rent was due last week. No. My car's about to get repoed. No. My child has an illness. It doesn't seem to be getting better. No. My own pain doesn't seem to go away. I thought I trusted you. I prayed. We fasted. Me and my family and friends and Christian churches, people, we all prayed and fasted. We did all the things you told us to do. And guess what? It's not getting better. So no, God, I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust you in this. I'm sorry, I don't. So I need to figure out what to do. I need to figure out where to go. I need to figure out how to go. I need to figure this out, or my situation is not going to get better, right? I know that we humans are like trapped in this really, really logical, I'm going to use what seems like a complimentive word, but a very logical mindset. We're trapped in it. For me, it owns me. Totally owns me. And that's my testimony of this last week, 2 week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it's been, of me being in horrific pain. And that's why, I may not be very useful tonight in the EBRT. I don't know what I'll be able to contribute. I still, for me to even do EBRT, it was a really hard, another choice. It was like, Lord, I'm not sharp-witted. My brain is having a hard time. There's like this weird brain fog I'm having because of the pain. I don't trust myself. So, I'm just not going to do EBRT until you take the pain away. And then I realized, well, how long can this go? It could go months because of the waiting list for the surgery. And if the stupid kidney stone doesn't move and my diverticulitis, whatever is going on with that, doesn't get fixed, and my tooth doesn't get fixed, and my eyes don't get fixed, when am I ever going to be good enough to do EBRT? When am I ever going to be good enough to do ministry again? So I had to make a choice. Just go broken. Just go do ministry broken. I'm going to tell you all I'm broken. I'm going to tell you all I'm in pain. You're going to see my eyes red and itchy and gooped up. You're going to hear my brain. You're going to hear the way I talk. If you're new, you're going to just think I suck at this. But you know what? It's all on God. If God wants to supernaturally take me over, he can. If God wants to work this out, he will. If he wants to supernaturally heal me, he can. I know that. So anyways, the me monster for sure. So, exactly, Jessica. So anyways, I'm not going to stay in the me monster. We're going to do EBRT. If I have to just sit here and, stumble through reading the comments, I'll stumble through reading the comments. If I don't have much to contribute, that's all right. I don't need to contribute. And if I ever want to come back and make a video later, I can do that. Whatever the Lord wants, it doesn't matter. But I realize that I'm not going to let my sins, my idols, and my struggles keep me from another day that I can be a blessing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going. Right? So there we go. That's the testimony I have from this nonsense that I've been going through and what the Lord has revealed to me. And so I didn't want to cover all this, obviously, in an EBRT video, so here's the other video. I thank you guys for taking the time to listen. If you did, live or recorded. I'm sure for maybe some of the folks who are new, it might seem like a weird video for you. Me kind of ranting, giving you probably TMI. I throw the HIPAA law out the window. I let everybody in on my medical issues. But you know what? My life, I feel like my life is called to be a testimony. And again, I'll tell you, this doesn't make any sense to me. how this would help or glorify God in any way, shape, or form. I feel like it would be far more glorious if my life was fixed and smooth sailing and wonderful. And then I would have that testimony, oh, look, God fixed it. You guys can have it fixed too. But a sentence that's been repeating in my head, and I feel there's a great wisdom to it. I think I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again right now. I hope it's, pray about it. Again, I'm not on drugs of any type of, I'm not even Advil or aspirin. I'm on nothing to manage pain whatsoever. I'm just in pain, and my brain is fogged up from all of it. So, but let me say this. This is the sentence that keeps popping up in my brain. I'm not okay, and that's okay. I'm not right, and that's okay. If God needed me to be this great, wonderful, fixed, happy life, wonderful life, successful life guy, well, then he should have chosen somebody else, which is what I told him in the first place. But he kept saying, no, it's you. No, it's you. No, it's you. So, yeah, I'm just going to come as best I can in all my brokenness. And I'm going to say something. I don't, I watch a few people on the internet that I like watching, and I see them go through hard times and they share. And it always feels a little weird. It's always a little icky, a little awkward to watch them when they go through kind of these confession videos of what they're struggling with or what they're going through. They're entertainers, though. They're not ministry people. But, but I'm not an entertainer. I'm not doing this to entertain you. I'm doing this in a way to hopefully be just a brother in Christ who's walking alongside of you in this battle of life, this war of life, So I hope that God does use this video, and it speaks to somebody and it blesses you. And this is going to be the future of the ministry until he takes it all away and unbreaks it. So so here we are. May the Lord be with us all. Baruch Hashem. By the grace of God go I. Right. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope this didn't have too much ick to it. I will see you guys in a few hours from now, about 5 hours from now, 6 hours from now for EBRT. And I look forward to reading your comments. So thank you also who all put in the comments for that and the patience you guys had over the last few weeks as we missed some of the weeks. Be blessed, brothers and sisters, because you are a huge blessing to me. And thinking of you and reading your comments, by the way, I would feel horrible if I got off this video without saying this. I should have said it at the beginning of the video, but again, my brain's not all there. Thank you all for your support, your donations, your emails, and the comments you have all left on the posts I made. Wow. You really, really added to the confirmation that I was really being refined by God through this process, and that I wasn't too far gone. Amen. So thank you guys. I love you so much. Take care.